What up, everybody? It's your boy DFS Up North with another 10 Under 10 podcast where I talk about my 10 favorite plays, 10 on FanDuel, 10 on DraftKings, a couple of crossovers, right? But all under 10% owned or right on the margin. I think I got like Alec Pierce this week at 10.17. We'll see. But let's get to it. We got a great week 13. Weird week. Not as many games on the slate as normal, just due to we've got, we had the Thursday games for Thanksgiving, 3 there, 1 on Friday, right? So a little bit smaller slate, but still lots of value. And these smaller slates, the ownership tends to creep up a little bit on everybody, so it's a little bit harder to find great plays. But really what we are looking for is just guys in good spots that are going under owned, throwing out maybe the away tight end or whatever trend or you think is happening, right? Which I get the data we're going to post, but we're just looking for guys in good spots that potentially are going to pop off here. Again, we're not looking to play all of these guys in the same lineup, right? We're looking to potentially just get a little bit different somewhere else. We know that chalk is chalk for a reason. There's way too much data out there now with Vegas and all the internet and all that stuff that, guys that get ownership are usually going to be good plays, especially running backs. But one of these low-owned guys can absolutely win you a GPP, especially if the price is right. We are starting on FanDuel today for my FanDuel people out there. Where you at? Holla at you. Starting with Sam Darnold, revenge game. Actually, this is the theme today, is former Vikings quarterbacks, or actually Vikings quarterbacks too. But Sam Darnold, revenge game. Darnold really hasn't had like these spike weeks despite JSN smashing. I do think that he crushes this week. The defense has been really good, and the defense is in a good spot again this week against Max Brosmer. But I think that we see a big game from Darnold against this defense that is dealing with injuries again. And yeah, I really like Darnold. You pair Darnold with JSN and just move on. Maybe an AJ Barner. I don't mind a double stack. I don't mind a double stack with a cheap tight end, right? We'll talk about Barner in a little bit here. Again, he had a nice week, 2 weeks ago. But yeah, he's been awesome. The other quarterback I like on FanDuel is another former Vikings quarterback, and that's Kirk Cousins, throwing the deep ball to Darnell Mooney. London likely out again this week. Cousins, way too low owned. Like, I get that the total here is fairly low, but the 21-point total for a team is not that bad on this slate. So I think you pair him with Mooney. I don't hate Pitts. Pitts is viable too. Love Darnold and Cousins. Again, we look over on DraftKings now. Darnold, another smash play here. Ownership's getting a little higher over there. 26-point total. But I really like Cam Ward this week against Jacksonville. I think this is a smash spot. I think he's got 25-point upside. If he runs a little bit, he's going to smash. All right. I don't think you need to pair him with anyone. I think you go naked. I like a naked Cam Ward here in GPP, and you're hoping that he throws a couple touchdown passes to one of his many turd receivers. We're not wasting a spot on one of them, and then he maybe runs one in too. Love that build in GPPs, especially something like the Millie Maker this week. And then Max Brosmer. All right, Vikings. JJ McCarthy has a concussion, or he's just bad. I don't know, one or the other. Hurts me to say it as a Vikings fan, but maybe this is it. Maybe this is our Brock Purdy moment. Brosmer looked great in the preseason. He has looked pretty solid when he's had to step in for JJ in the past, earlier this season, or for Carson Wentz. I can't remember who got hurt when he played, but he can read a defense. He can sling the ball a little bit. He's going to manage it. He's not going to do something with his legs, but he's a classic pocket passer at dead min in a good spot against the Seattle defense that's really not that good. Like, you go Brosmer, Jettas, that might get you to the top of the milli if he throws a couple of touchdown passes at $4,000. So really do like them. On the flip side, for the running backs, we were talking squeaky wheel narrative with Rico Dowdle. Talked last week about how if they would have stuck with the running, the 49ers, felt like he was doing well there. I think that we see him potentially get a bunch of touches here. It's a tough matchup, but I think we're going to get 20 touches at low ownership, which I just absolutely love. You got to rock that volume. And then Kyron Williams, I've been on him for a couple weeks now against Carolina this this is a great spot. I actually love both running backs in this game, obviously, with Dowdle being listed as well. I think he has game-breaking ability and 2-touchdown upside that nobody is going to play. What are we at for ownership here? Oh, not nobody. We're right at 10.65. The ownership's gone up a little bit from earlier this week. Like Kyron again on FanDuel, actually maybe better play here where he's not getting it done through the air. He's really going to catch ball or really going to carry the ball. And then Jaylen Warren. This is an elite spot against the Bills. My only concern is Kenny Gainwell stealing some carries, but I do think that Warren is the better play, especially on FanDuel. Warren is a fine DraftKings play as well. I think that we see this game be close. I think we see it be fairly high scoring. And I expect Warren to get a bunch of work. We talked about Darnell Mooney earlier with Cousins, but regardless, I think he is in play. No London, big boon, getting the ball. Let me just double check. I got to make sure that we are getting no London here. But yeah, Cousins is a much better deep ball thrower than Michael Penix. I really do like Penix. I think that he throws the ball hard. He's great to the sidelines, but yeah, we get potentially a Darnell Mooney being the number one guy here again. Yep, he's out with the knee strain. Just had to double check that. I wanted to make sure, but yeah, Mooney, great deep ball catcher, guy who's a stud. Tez Johnson, likely getting Baker Mayfield back here. Floor is pretty low most weeks, but he's got end zone upside, $6,000. Can't really go wrong here at 1%. He's a touchdown scorer. I hate playing Jets players. The Jets are terrible. Tyrod Taylor's terrible, but John Mechie Jr. is catching a bunch of balls. Mega cheap, both sites, absolute viable play. And then Gabe Davis. With Coleman out, he's really stepped up as one of the top 2 receivers. This Pittsburgh secondary has been smashed by everyone. He's mega cheap, both sites viable, but I prefer him on FanDuel at the price. Definitely in play as a punt wide receiver. Over on DraftKings, we talked about John Mechie being a great play, 3,800, way too cheap. Alec Pierce, we're going right back to the well, right? We were on Pierce last week, didn't pay off. Slot guy getting a ton of targets last week against the Chiefs, got basically nothing. Gets Houston here, who's a good defense. I actually like them, and I actually like the fact that Houston going up against a potentially injured Daniel Jones or limited Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones having to stay in the pocket a little bit more is only going to benefit Pierce in the slot. Keenan Allen just too good to not keep producing, right? Great matchup. Herbert shouldn't have as many issues here after the bye, and like with the pass rush of the Raiders, not going to be as big of a deal. Think that he smashes. And then BTJ comes back 2%. You always worry about the floor and drops, but I think they look to get him involved right away. They've been, the offense has actually been clicking without him, but I do think we see Trevor Lawrence sort of smash the ball to him. And then at tight end, said it earlier, I like AJ Barner. Makes his return again this week in this article. Heavily involved in passing game. If he scores, he smashes at this price. I love a good cheap tight end in a game that's going to blow up that can catch the ball. Over on DraftKings or at FanDuel, Jawan Jennings is essentially like the only healthy person here. I think Olave is gonna play. We'll see. But yeah, Jawan Jennings, even with Tyler Shuck, however you say it, he ain't gonna be in the league very long. Throwing him the ball, I think he can still smash value. No Kamara, Taysom Hill being sort of the guy. I had Devin Neal originally listed here as a running back, but he's gotten well over 10%, and that for me is kind of a no touch. I'm not interested in Devin Neal this week. Running back defense. Right, we get the Cleveland Browns going up against the San Francisco 49ers. Purdy threw three picks last week. I think that this Browns defense is legit. And yes, I am scared of CMC, but they can still put up a pretty good score with the way that Purdy has been playing. And then the Texans against the Indianapolis Colts. This Texans defense is legit. Good pass rush. Jones dealing with that fractured fibula. They can get a bunch of sacks, potentially a few turnovers. Love the Texans this week too. So that is what I've got for you guys. I hope this helped. I will be back with Sunday Night Football Showdown video later, Sunday afternoon. Until then, I hope that your guys' main slate goes great. You crush all week. Green screens. Hopefully somebody wins the millie. Tell me who your favorite 10 out of 10 play is this week in the comments. Cheers, everybody.